in our philosophy. We take this very serious. I think you guys all got an email from me a while back that talked about the importance of handling someone's life savings and the principles that we put in place to make sure that we practice proper fiduciary duty to make sure we help you be successful. With that, I'd like to introduce you Cammie Craig, who is a fitness trainer, expert in the field in both fitness and nutrition. I've seen her change people's lives, from people who never had any background in fitness to being able to have confidence in who they are, have more self-love, and their mental state improve simply because they stick to a plan that she develops. They have proper nutrition, and they feel better as their body feels better. Cammie is a business owner in this town. Runs a great, impeccable gym here in this town, and has a tremendous love for her community and for the people she serves. I would say that she is a humble servant for her clients. Cammie, the call is yours.
Thanks, Ray. That was really nice of you. How are you doing, Ray?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
I got my butt kicked about 5 o'clock this morning in the gym, but I'm doing good.
Well, that's why you have energy right now, right?
Yes.
Well, number one and most foremost, I want to thank Ray for asking me to be on this call, and also Tim for coordinating everything that you do on the backside. It was a pleasure leading up to this day, and of course, I'm looking at this day like a volleyball game in college. My butterflies are in the stomach right now, so I've been so excited for this. Thank you so much for having me, and to everyone that's on the call right now, thank you for being with us this afternoon. I wanted to, this is my first PowerPoint ever, Ray. I'm really getting there.
We're excited for you.
Okay, good. But yeah, so what I want to share first is, yes, I am a gym owner here in Reno, Nevada. I've been in the industry for 19 years come this May 24th, so Memorial Day weekend, 19 years ago, I walked into the gym, and I never looked back. And I served as a fitness trainer for quite some time. And then about 7 years into my career, I had another calling, and that was to open CCF. CCF is a place for the community. It's a place for all different sizes, shapes, ages. And it's really a place where I can call home, and I'm pretty sure that other people can call this home away from home. And it's interesting because in the logo that you can see right here, does everyone see this slide?
Are you able to share your screen? There we go.
Oh, is that right?
Thank you.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. But as you can see in the logo, 12 years ago, we had been open as CCF off of Longley and Mira Loma in Reno. But Inspired Training still sticks out to me. And when I was getting coached on opening up this facility, they said, make sure that this is a timeless logo with a timeless slogan. And here I am 12 years later with Inspired Training, and I can look at that and be proud that it is still on there because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's on preach.
I'm inspired by everyone that walks through the door. I'm inspired by people that have been a mentor in my life, and really strangers, people that just come in and out of my life have also inspired me. So this is wonderful to be here in this community. One thing that's a little bit different about myself and also the gym is that we're really community based. I was also coached at the very beginning saying, well, you're dominating or you're pioneering in a male dominated industry. What are you going to do different that everyone else is probably not 12 years ago? And that answer 12 years ago was working with the community. And it was also being able to find my way through people that were walking through the door. So that meant if I never worked with a paraplegic before, I was honest with them and saying, ma'am, I haven't had a client like you before. However, this is an opportunity for both of us and really me as well to learn what this feels like and looks like in motion, because I know that motion is going to be success for people, both physically and mentally. And I think that everyone that is on this phone call right now can attest to us living through COVID and understanding that motion and, that exercise is essential, and we
It is
got, yeah.
absolutely, Cami, it is absolutely essential. It's one of the things that changed my life when I picked it up. And it does from an aspect of not only your physical fitness, but it's a mental component that no matter what kind of turbulence you're going through, you can always come back to that place that grounds you, is what I've learned from you, to be in a place that's safe. And then I've seen you, how you empower as a woman. I've learned a lot from you, how empowering you are to other women and folks, especially the elderly folks who have, sometimes feel it's very intimidating for them to come to a normal gym, and pay their $20 membership and not really know how to use the equipment.
Right. I mean, you just nailed it. And that's what people are intimidated to do. And whether they're in their 20s walking into, the world of vanity, or they're going into, which is my beautiful phase of life, into my 40s and 50s and 60s, and you realize that we have one date that is solid so far, and that is our birth date. Is that correct? And then one day that will come in time, and I just want to say this is God willed, but one day I will have another date, and that will be my death date. And these are things that people don't want to talk about, and it's one of those things where I want to promote more of, so we can make the process a little bit more beautiful in between, that line in between our two dates. And I want to make this journey awesome. And again, this is the 42-year-old Cami talking, because when I got into the industry, I most definitely was more vain, and I was, seeking that look and yada yada. But it's been a fun time watching myself walking this walk and understanding that it's really not the look that I'm attaching myself to, it's the feeling. If I can feel better, I know that I'm going to live a beautiful life, and beautiful and success and all these different things of describing words, they mean differently to other people. But for me, I want to make sure that I feel well so I can live well. Here at CCF, I've over the course of the years, I started off as a fitness trainer, and God doesn't expose to us what's going to happen in our lifetime, right? And all of a sudden, here I am, 19 years later this May, and just being a fitness trainer, and all of a sudden there's over 130 podcast episodes that have been recorded and put out into this little world of mine, co-hosting on Fitness Fridays for Fox 11. Again, working with the community. That means if anyone is in hardship, that they can come to CCF, and we can do our darn best to promote and expose an hour of fitness for someone else. So it's a very selfless act, because the people that are coming in here are donating from their heart towards another person. The most that we've raised, Ray, talking about finances, in 1 hour, we were able to raise $15,000 for a woman that had brain cancer, and she knew she was going to pass, but she wanted to make the most of it and the best memories with her child, which was 5 years old, Dylan, and her husband. They traveled all over the U.S. with that $15,000, as much as they could, to make memories. And one of her greatest memories was going to Disney World with Dylan and her husband and her family. And that was only possible because other people in this community saw past their own nose and raised their hand and said, whether they worked out or not, right? They were here and they gave back. And so that I definitely think that's one thing that makes CCF very special. All of a sudden, over the course of time, I became a wellness and nutrition consultant, because I realized that not everyone knows. A lot of trainers and fitness instructors know the physique, they know the science. However, I think the biggest obstacle is the other 23 hours that are not in the gym. And that's a lot of trust in people, but that's where I really put my foot down and said, I can be different, not only having community inside this gym, but having a really big school for nutrition. Okay. And I feel like if people are educated and they know more, then they're going to want to execute more. And then when you get the Rays and the Tims and the Sharons and the Jareds and the Marias saying, oh my gosh, Ray, you look so good. Oh my gosh, Tim, you look so good. Then all of a sudden you get like kind of like pumped up, and that endorses the behavior because you are doing everything that you're getting educated on. And I noticed, Ray, that you like to give information. You like to teach, you like to school people in a way, and I admire that because that means that you're not capsulizing this information and holding it in. Like Ray Gonzalez knows everything about the stock market, and I'm not going to tell anyone. Right? It means more that you are telling and sharing it to the world because it's beneficial for not only you, Ray, and Tim, and Sharon, and Jared, and all the people that are on this call. We get to expose this information to encourage support of other people, and relationships is a huge thing.
Cami, it is. It is a huge thing. For me, I can simply talk about the financial world and keep it there. But I love my clients. I love the people that I form great relationships with. I bleed with my heart.
Yep.
We're not simply embracing their wealth. We're embracing the entire soul of a human.
Oh.
And sometimes that could be misinterpreted, or sometimes that could be taken wrong. But you only know where you're coming from when you embrace someone and you really want to help them feel good, so that they can enjoy what they've built over the years. And it comes from a loving standpoint, truly tremendous compassion to see someone be successful. So let's talk about that.
Yes, sir.
How do you structure, let's say I'm coming into the gym, I've never been in a gym, or how do you tailor plans, or what is it that you do? And then talk to us a little bit about the importance of, so if I'm new, it took me forever. Let me put it this way. I worked out, but I didn't eat right. It only took some major things to happen in my life to go, wait a second. And it was doctor combined. It was personal things I went through that said, you know what? I need to change everything. And one of the things I changed was the doctor said to me, Ray, how much water do you drink? I said, why? Well, we're seeing the kidney readings and they don't look good. I go, well, I drink Frescas. I drink Diet Cokes. I drink all kinds of other sparkling waters. And she looked at me, when do you drink water? I said, well, I'm thirsty.
And coffee and tea.
And so today, I literally would drink 2 or 3 hydro flasks because I was a dummy of water. And these is, 60-something ounces of water. And I do it religiously no matter what. It took me a while. I also eliminated all processed sugar completely. So I've seen significant change. Even though I was active, I wasn't necessarily fit. And then, of course, having some of your workouts changed because you gave me a plan. So talk to us about how someone may start and what are the 2-3 things in every area that someone can do to start seeing results in their life. The other thing I noticed is I sleep better. I'm in bed at 8:30. I wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Everything has changed in my life. So someone who might be struggling with even their circadian rhythm, what does fitness and proper nutrition do for them?
Yes, sir. Well, I want to go back a second. And when you say all those things that you've done, that becomes very intimidating to a lot of people. So then to backtrack a far back, we got to remember that Ray Gonzalez started on day one somewhere. I have this amazing intern right now, Ray, and I do all the things right now, like pop, 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 and I tell him everything. And then I have to remind him, I'm like, hey, this is 19-year-old Cami in the industry. And remember that I've been doing this, and exploring and experimenting and trial and error and to get where I am today. So for anyone that is listening right now, remember that your day one is going to be a great day. It's going to be a hard day, but we can't do it without putting a challenge in front of everything, right? And when people walk in here, number one, they're seen as not only a person of a certain shape, but they're seen as a soul. I've acquired this X-ray vision over people, and it's really awesome because I see people for what they will become versus who they see that day. and really what you're attempting to do is neuroplasticity, which is just the bond of changing the mindset. So the brain has so much to do with it, and it's so powerful. It's our superpower. And that's why we give in so much, because it's also our greatest enemy. So like you said before, sitting in fear or in love, the second that someone comes through the door, whether they're, 10 years old or 83, which is our oldest client, you are welcome, and you got to know that there's a little blueprint to you versus what Ray does, what Jen does, what Jeff does. So I just want to touch base on a quote that a chiropractor shared with me. And he said, motion is like, he told all of his clients, motion is like lotion, use it. It'll lubricate your body. It'll lubricate your mind in ways that is not done in pill form. It's not a quick fix. It is something that is a regimen every single day, which also makes a gym of any sort so wonderful to step into. Being sedentary is a new form of smoking. Over time, this will kill us. There's all these different ways to understand how many steps you get, or how hard you work out, or what are the calories. And I do suggest those things because we stay a little energetic towards them versus being mean to self when we talk to ourselves about being sedentary, because we have that job, but we can get up. Those are little things, Ray, beyond the gym that I like to share with people. Set an alarm. If you're a homebody and you don't get out very much, or you are at work all day, set 5 alarms during the day. Or ask yourself, when I do go to the restroom, because I'm drinking a lot more water in my day, to go walk all the way to the front door, walk out to the parking lot and back in, just for a little breath of fresh air. And those are more steps in your day. Anxiety and stress promotes depression. Motion promotes forward thinking and activation to getting things done in a day. Next, I want to share, maybe, hold on. It's coming over. Yes. So there's this guy that I met down in San Diego, in Pacific Beach. And I'm reading one of the things that you can see. Neighborhood of San Diego, hundreds of people know John Kitchen. Has anyone heard of him? If you haven't, please research him. He's quite amazing. He's got a couple cool YouTubes, but his name's Slow-Mo. At the time when I met him, he was 81 years old, and he had been rollerblading over the boardwalk for 24 years. John Kitchen abandons his career as a neurologist and moves to the Pacific Beach. There he undergoes a radical transformation into slow-mo, trading his lab coat for a pair of rollerblades and to the taste of his divinity, which was in motion. And I'm going to just, if you guys can listen to this 1-minute clip of me meeting him.
Direct yourself into being one of those gnarly kind of people that can't be pushed around when you're 60 years old.
Yep. No, you're 100% right.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a lifetime thing as opposed.
So he said it's a lifetime of staying active. Is that what I hear?
Yep. Yeah, we're getting it. Hold on. We're somewhere, maybe. Yep. But it's a lifetime emotion. And then he did say that when you become 60 years old, that's the time that you need to buckle down. And he also did share, if he could go back in time, that would be wonderful, right? We've all done it. I wish I would have. And he says the same thing, but instead, like I said, he traded his lab coat for a pair of rollerblades, and he told me, I want to say over and over again, how many times that he would get his rollerblades on just to feel that feeling of forwardness. And that's the way that we were designed to move anyways, was forward. And when we move forward, hence to when we're walking, when we're on a roller coaster, when we're on a bike, when we're in a cab, when we're moving forward, we just have this great sensation over self that we adore. So that was my little thing on slow-mo that I wanted to share with everyone. And then my next thing, Ray, I don't have the slides up right now. Please forgive me. This is my first time ever doing this. But I wanted to move into, does everyone know Tom Brady? Ray, I know you know Tom Brady, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So Tom Brady, he is the main guy in life right now that is a celebrity, I suppose, that people are kind of gravitating to him because he has some interesting things going on, and he got made fun of very, very harshly the other night on the roast. But what happens and why he's getting made fun of, just like I get made fun of and everyone else gets made fun of. I just got a girl, I'll tell you another woman, but she gets made fun of because she takes her food everywhere. She works out every day. She goes on a walk after she eats dinner to help glucose levels. You know, she fills up her water bottle at the airport with the filter stations versus going to buying water every single time and not knowing what she's getting, yada yada. So Tom Brady's investing in self living by biohacking, and there's codes out there that have been around since the beginning of time. And these are the things that I share. I'm taking this example of Tom Brady because we all know him, but the second that you walk through that door, these are the things that are encouraged in your life. And I never say, hey, Ray, hey, Sharon, you have to get rid of all of these things in order to be successful. That's not what I say. Instead, I say, attempt this and see how it feels. So Tom Brady, and this is the biohacking, but energy-related biohacking examples include sleep. You know, there's so many times where I hear people say that's their trophy, saying, I sleep 3 hours a night. Well, it's not the big trophy in the book of biohacking, which is, you know, how can we save this? How can we preserve this? Because there is going to be a day, God will, that we're going to pass. So can we make the aging process, which is, you know, age management or whatever else we want to call it, if we can slow that down, and we can slow that down by preserving sleep, breath work, fasting, blue light. This morning I had my infant, he's 6 months old, blue light therapy for circadian rhythms regulation, 7 to 11 a.m. I learned from Epic Brain Health on all of this circadian rhythm and our brain therapy. So especially if you can do this between those hours with no obstruction, those are great ways to help your system and regulate your system and also preserve your system. Okay. So those are a couple of the slides. And then when I talk about the other biohacks, that could be putting yourself into a sauna, going to yoga, doing meditation or prayer. And this is a big thing. I'm unable to go really deep in this, Ray, but food, you know, that's a big thing that I coach, motion. And then another thing for people, and I think I can share this with everyone, this hard truth, but I often refer to Tom Brady and I say, why do you think that he looks the way that he looks? And I'm very honest when I say he has mastered, he's brilliant in the fact that he makes X amount of money and he doesn't spend it on just things, because things are going to come and go and they're not going to the grave with us, right? He understands that with all of these finances that he has, just like he tithes and just like he gives back, he also spends a huge amount of money on locating the inner self. Okay, so he's in cellular rejuvenation. He has concierge everything. He's getting full panel blood tests. He's getting EKGs. He's getting hormone replacements. And he got roasted. Apparently he's doing a lot of plastic surgery too. But that's not our problem, right? I'm just supporting the biohacks that he's understanding and that he's living. He's getting made fun of because he's getting made fun of because it is very hard to do. And if everyone, go ahead, if this was easy, Ray, everyone would be doing it, and that's why it's a challenge.
It was the food was the most difficult one for me. The food was that hack of eliminating the snacks at night, the sugar, you know, whether it was a cookie or a piece of pie or cake. And it was literally about 2 to 3 weeks it took me to feel kind of number. You know, I was aggro, you know, for lack of carbs. So by eliminating that component or slowly eliminating that component, it helped me. And no matter how much I worked out or walked or, you know, I'm not a big walker, but maybe worked out, I didn't see the results that I wanted to see until I implemented the simple water, you know, 64 ounces a day was, you know, what my doctor recommended. And then the other thing they looked at me is eliminate some of that processed food.
Yeah.
So simple hacks like for breakfast, I have egg whites with chicken and a side of veggies, and with the protein shake with berries in it, things like that. Lunch, same thing. I eliminated a lot of the breads, the good stuff. Doesn't mean I can't have it at times. The other thing that I reduced significantly was the alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, which is I think is for a lot of us, it's very difficult when you want to have your two glasses of wine. But what I found is that I was able to sleep better. And, there's studies that have been shown that if your circadian rhythm is not in the right place, it disrupts your mental state, which then you don't feel good or you feel sluggish sometimes in the morning because you really didn't get yourself in that deep state of sleep.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's the hard part, Ray, for everyone, investing in yourself and doing something like, this guy that we all don't know, but I know for sure he has taken the steps just like you have and just like all my clients have. And I'm going to share a couple examples and one in particular. But when you challenge yourself to do those things, eliminate things and not in total, but in majority, then you will get the results that you're asking for. And especially when it comes from, or especially when it's the inner self, your mind works better. Like when I'm eating healthier fats instead of the trans fats, and the high fructose corn syrups and all the processed sugars and stuff, I'm thinking way more clear. I just am, and it's actually fun to feel this feeling. Peyton Manning sat up there and he goes, I eat Applebee's, and here Tom Brady is eating the apples and the bees, and so there's something to say in that. I want everyone to remember that. Please be the guy and be the girl that's eating the apples and the bees. The next slide is going into the challenge. Can they still see the slides? Can you guys still see the slides by chance?
No, we can't. You're not sharing.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Now?
Go ahead. And then we have a few more minutes, another 5 minutes.
Okay, and I'm just going to share this one gal. Can you see it now?
I can see the PowerPoint presentation, but I can see Tom Brady and
Okay.
Peyton Manning.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go to challenging yourself, and I'm going to go to Miss Deborah. So this guy was 56 years old, and Miss Deborah, keep going, one more. Okay. So Deborah, she's in a Project C, which means this is a total body transformation. This woman she is, keep going, one more. She is, I want to say 56, 60, 61 years old, okay? And after a recent health scare that resulted her to stay in the hospital, she was prescribed all these things, and she wasn't taking care of herself. She wasn't putting the oxygen mask on herself. And lo and behold, we were brought together. She heard about Project C from a coworker, and she knew that it was time. So she found the challenge, and it started changing her. And she started to make everything that we were encouraging in the challenge to be a lifestyle for her mentally and physically. The guidance and experience has been an amazing journey. Today was the last day of her challenge, ironically, and this was a 90-day challenge, Ray, and to everyone that is listening. And I really want to share that it does not matter how old you are. I work with my, 50, 60, 70-year-old people, and we have different goals than what it would be at 20, 30, 40, because we're in different chapters. This woman wants to be able to move for the remainder of her life. She wants to be able to get off the floor. She wants to be able to get out of bed. She wants to be able to garden. She wants to be able to hang out with her kids, her grandkids, all of it. So in the course of 90 days of persistence and discipline and devotion to herself to keep that face mask on of oxygen, she was able to lose 16.5 inches of her total body. She started at a scale weight of 131 and she dropped down to 123. I really don't care about the scale weight. What I really care about is a body fat analysis test. 1 out of 10 men and also women know what their composition is. And coming out of the gate, I always see the AG ratio first. Everyone else sees their BMI, which doesn't mean anything. Then they'll see their body fat percentage. For their coach, I talk them through their android and gynoid ratio. If anyone wants this test done, get it done at Reno Diagnostics. Give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll give you all of the prompts to get there. However, she started at 0.98, and a woman should always strive to be below 0.80. Why? because the android and gynoid is the ratio that gives, or the average that gives this number that says that you have more of a serial fat around the midsection region that is suffocating the performance of the organs that are out of sight, out of mind. So when I see this, and I saw that Deborah went down 0.13 down to 0.85, she is nearly to the goal, and she is decreasing her chances every single day from cardiovascular disease. Okay, and it's crucial at this time of her life. She's 61 years old. Here's the cool part: in her lean mass, she was 79 pounds start. She's up to 85. She's a plus 6 pounds. And then the next slide, you'll see that she started at 45 pounds. She is down to 34 pounds. She dropped 11 pounds in 90 days.
Fat mass.
Then one last thing that I like to share with people: she started with 100% of her body fat, which was 45 pounds of fat, which was also meaning 36.5% of her body is fat. At the end of 90 days, she went down to, she dropped 21% of her body fat from what she started. Okay, and so that's a lot to say in a couple sentences, but what happens is when you get coached and when you get educated, because the foods that we were eating with everyone on this phone call when we were 20 years ago, if you were eating Pringles, if you were drinking soda, if you were eating TV dinners, okay, those are really bad things, right? And if we were eating the lean meats of this world, the elk, the food, the plants that were growing, all of that. But I'm talking about the gross food that we have brought into our, system. If we take Pringles 20 years ago, Ray, and we have Pringles today, do you know that the ingredient panel has tripled from what it was when we were 20 years younger than we are now? So that means that we were eating healthier when we were eating really the bad food. So I suggest for everyone that is on this phone call to be their own advocate, to be in support of self, to invest in their self, because there's going to come a day, Ray, just like Tom Brady says over and over, I would rather spend all the money now so I can enjoy my life, right? Rather than getting to a certain point in my life and then spending all that money to be in the hospital or to get, all these prescriptions and drugs and whatever to live the rest of their life. Working out and eating healthier is a life wealth management and a worthy investment.
Tammy, thank you so much. I absolutely agree. We see our clients who stay active, and I'll share this story and keep it short. I met a gal. She'd been with me for many years. Her name was Betty. I called her one day after she'd been with me for 15 years, and I tried to reach her. Her person who took care of her home answers, and she says, Betty's out for a jog. She's 95. I go, she is? I kind of chuckled. I'm like, she went for a run? And so anyhow, when she called me back and said, Betty, do you go for jogs? She goes, all the time. And she goes, and by the way, I don't just do jogs. I do water aerobics. I do Pilates. I do weightlifting. And I said, I've known you for 15 years. You've never really told me either that or I didn't slow it down enough to get to know her, right? But what she said to me, I've been doing this all my life, Ray. And it's one of those things that I've continued to do. She lived to be 101 years of age. And she was a fascinating person. Her mind was clear. She was an accountant. She kept a general ledger of all her investments. And if we were off by a penny, she would call us up. And I used to tell my team, don't screw this up. She's going to call us on it. Okay. And she was sharp.
I love that.
And then you have other people who don't make their physical fitness priority simply because we are busy or they have other things to do. And you see the diminishing physical, their traits, meaning they're not able to walk. They might be hunched over. They have other things that really impedes them from having quality of life. And when you put them side by side, one is always active, and the other one's always sedentary. Yep. So I found that to be fascinating over my 30 years of experience. So this is one of the reasons why I think this is vital. Not only are we wealth managers, and we want to be great stewards of overseeing your financial plans, but we also want to be great stewards of making sure we bring you education about taking care of your mind and body. At the end of the day, I always say this: I've never seen a U-Haul behind the hearse. We don't take it with you. So, what is the legacy you want to leave? What is the memories you want to leave? And what kind of impact do you want to make? So for me, the impact is I want to empower everybody that's in this call and all my investors to help them be the best that they can be in every area of their life. Thank you very much, Cami. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, everybody. For those of you here in the West Coast, have a great afternoon. For those of you much further on the East Coast, have a great evening. Take care, and talk to you on our next call. Have a great day.
Good job. Woo! Sorry, we had a little. No, that's great. I think it's better that if you're like, oh, this is my first one.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
that,
then
yeah,
hiccups
because then
can
they were
happen.
like,
Yeah.
because everyone's